Hello, in this video we are going to continue with the blog system. This is day 17, so this is part 2 of the blog system. So let's get to it. Previously we just did some general maintenance, bug fixes. We just created the tables for the blog posts and the blog comments. And we're basing it very much on the snapshot blog. I liked how it looked. It was very simple. Again, the purpose of our blog at the moment system isn't to be a WordPress system. It's just to allow, let's say, a developer or who's creating, let's say, a company website, for example, to have some sort of simple blog in there. You can extend it later on. You're more than welcome to, and I'm sure we will as well. So you got like a title, some text in there, you got an image, like the date, and that's just what this part of the date as well. That's the time, but that's it really. We don't actually have much in there. So first of all, we're creating a blog class. Let's just create that file initially. So if we go to where's the classes folder, classes, right click new file, blog.php. I'm just going to copy and paste this. We will just remove what we don't need in here. It's going to be frankly most of it. Okay, almost there, and here we go. So I'm going to remove this, Do I need to use that? I could potentially require that there. Config file, yes. Error, yes. Do we have a config for blog? Got db config, so no, we don't have one for blog. I'm going to create one for blog then. New file, blog_config.php. I'm going to copy and paste this one, for example. And the name is going to be blog. And we need what were the tables again? We add the blog comments and blog posts. So blog posts. Not handler name, table name. And it was about blog posts. We need one for blog comments. And this is going to be blog comments table name, and we can actually get rid of all these. Don't need any of these as of now. If we go to our blog, let's copy and paste this. So for the constructor, we're not going to pass anything in. Going to be called blog, and we are going to get rid of all of this. This is going to be the posts table name. I should have left that because we need one for comments as well. Comments table name. This is going to be posts table name. I'm going to paste that here. Need the config get. Cut that and put it here. Blog posts. And this needs to be blog. Copy that, paste it here. I just want this in order. And I need to change this to blog comments table name. So now we have, this like blog class sort of set up. I'll just mark that as done in here because we'll just be creating methods as and when we need them. We need the class view folder. If we go to app, views, so right click, new folder, blog. So good. We're gonna need, I guess, a class blog view folder is done, a blog view to see all of the blogs, and I'm just gonna call this, well, index, I guess. So new file, index.php, similar to like if you go to home, it automatically goes to index. Same on here. Actually, that goes to one called home. I could call it something different. I could rename it to home. I think that will sound better. Okay, I'm just simply gonna type in like blog like so, and if I go to controllers, new file, blog.php, say if I go to forum, copy and paste that, just easier than remembering where the way the system works. We'll obviously have a what's it called documentation very soon. We can get rid of all of this. For the index, it goes to blog home. For home, it goes to, well, index. For sonar models, we don't need anything like that yet. We may not need it at all. So now, if I were to go to, for example, blog, it goes to the blog page. If I try to go to a page that doesn't exist, obviously go back to the home page. Okay, it's looking all good. So we got that working. Blog view, so this would essentially be the view to see all of our different pages. I think before we do the blog view, I want to do the privileges for the different users and the actual page we have to post stuff to the blog, which only obviously admins can access, and the blog view to see all the pages. So a different set of user privileges. So create table for user privileges, that's what we're calling it at the moment. So let's just sort of plan out the user privileges that we're going to have. First of all, the table ID, and the ID is going to be an int, auto increment, primary. Then I think we need a privilege. That's how you spell privilege. Let's have a look. Yep. Then we need a privilege ID, and the reason we're going to have this is so if we go through the database, we can see, oh, that's an admin, that's a user. But this will be unique as well, so it's going to be int. No, it's not going to be an int, sorry, it's going to be a varchar of like 16 characters. That should be enough. Varchar, and this is going to be unique. I don't think we need anything beyond that. Don't need a timestamp because this is just, we might have eventually like an admin panel to add stuff to here. But again, it's not like we're adding stuff to it willy-nilly like the user table where, you know, new users can sign up. It's only, this is more of a back-end admin thing. That should be fine. So the different users we got planned at the moment were admin, user and admin. User and admin. You could eventually have one for something like, you know, blog or writer. I know a lot of CMS systems do that, so they don't have access to sort of like the admin features where you could delete stuff or really change some stuff up on the website, but you can still, you know, post. So I know WordPress has something very similar to that, but for now we'll just stick with these two, and once you have all this implemented, we'll be in a good position to easily add other types of users as well and use those privileges in our website where we need to. So the user privileges, that really should be also in the config file. So if I go to users and user privilege, user privileges or users privileges, user privileges, table name, and this is going to be equal, just I'm going to call it user privileges. Probably best if I rename both of them at a later date. Not fancying that underscore anymore. I've got to have a comma there. So now I want to create a new table called user privileges. Gonna have an ID, auto increment. It's gonna be primary, and then what we got is a privilege and varchar 16. And this is gonna be unique. So that looks all good to me. If I save that, and if I go to user privileges, structure, check out all the structures there, okay. I'm actually going to insert some data into here now. And for the data, I'm going to insert one for user. I'm going to insert admin first. I'm going to insert another one for user. If I go browse, we've got the two different user systems. Another thing we need to do is go to users and actually create a privilege column. So if I go to the structure and I add one column after, where should it be? Should I add it at the end? Just trying to think where would it logically make sense. I'm going to add it before the username actually. Before username, so it's after ID. It's going to be a varchar of 16. This is going to be privilege. It's not going to be unique because obviously, you know, there could be several admins, there will be several users, and etc. etc. But what we do want to do is there will be a default value and it will be user. So by default, when you create something, it'll be user. And I'll just merely put user here. So what we need to do now is when we actually create a user, in the user class, so create okay, so that's social login. For starters, I should obviously have, you know, the what's it called here, privilege, and that should be user. But where are we actually creating a user? Like, the method is called insert. We're doing it in a view. So if I go to home, register, if I go to down here, validation passed, okay, so create privilege user. So now I'm just actually going to log out and test this out. So if I go to public, log out, and if I were to log in, register, and the username, if I were to put Farhan UI, put password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I put contact. I'm gonna put contact.co.uk. I'm not a robot. Register. You have been registered. Please check your bloody blah activation email. If I go here now, yep, it says user. All good stuff. And I'm also just gonna activate this as well. Login. Okie dokie. So that's all good. So we've got different set of user privileges now. Now we need a blog post page that's only accessible via admin via admin. So in here, I'm going to create a new file, and it's going to be called, should I call it post or admin.php? I could call it post, but I think I might want that as I'll call it admin.php. So if you try and access this one without being logged in as an admin, it'll just redirect you to the home page of the blog system. So for this, if you try and go to admin, you want to go to admin, and in here put admin. So if I were to try and go to blog/admin, it shows you at the moment because obviously I don't have any of that checking done. But what I need to do, I'm actually going to create a method for it. Is there something called get? Check password salt exists. So I might be able to. Which method can I literally just rip off and reuse? So let's just copy this one, and this is going to be to check if the user is an admin. Do I have user privileges? No, I do not. User privileges table name, privileges table name. Copy and paste that from here. Copy from here, paste it into here, and this should be user privileges table name. So we're going to get the data. Actually, what we want to do is pass in the user name, where the username equals $username. Okie dokie. Is admin. And also I'm going to say return false, because if it doesn't return anything either, there's no count. So if it's privilege is equal to admin, then return true. Check if the user, check if a user is an admin. If a user is an admin, so to make sure this method is actually working, what I'm going to do is go to the admin page. Before I go there, I'm going to go to, that's one of the forum pages, and just get some of the code from here. So I'm going to do dollar, if dollar user is admin, and I'm going to pass in the username of F. I'm going to echo out admin, else echo out not admin. Save that, refresh the page. Okay, so we got a problem on user 485, the user class, data count. Oh no, it's not user privileges table name. My bad, that should be users table. Not admin. If I were to go into here and change this to, for example, an admin, and now go back, I'm an admin. Fantastic. So what if I want to check if like this particular user is an admin, like where I am? I need to get the data. So I need to go back to here. So instead of passing in that, I need to do $user. Now first of all, I think we need to do if it's signed in. So if $user is logged in, then if it's not logged in, then we can basically exit and we can redirect. So for the redirection, like if I go to log out, now if I go to login, the redirect will be something like this. So if I go to admin, really should be putting exits here as well. And this will be blog home if they're not logged in. If they're not an admin, then we're also going to do the redirect as well. I think why we're not nesting, and the reason is going to try and get away from the nesting, because though this should only this check should only occur if this check is false. Actually, sorry, I can do an else if. But the reason I'm going to try and get away from nesting is because if we try and do so many nests, it can just sort of spiral out of control. Whereas if we're doing these exits and doing these redirects, it should never hit this code anyway. This helps us manage the code a bit better. So we need to get data, and the data is going to be username else echo out admin page. So if I were to go back to here, refresh, it should redirect us. But if I were to go into here and change this to admin, why did that take a while last time? I don't know. Okay, so it shows the admin page, but if, let's say again, if I were to go back into here, and let's just say this was a mismatch and it said admins, that's not a valid admin user, goes to blog, but if I change this to admin, and yeah, you got the admin page now, so we could actually start putting the content here to be able to post into our blog. So good stuff. I'm just trying to think. We're not using this user privileges table at the moment. I think I can definitely see in my head where a table like this might come in use, especially when we have several different users. But at the moment, I am finding it difficult. For now, I'll leave it because it's just be something that we will use at a later date. You can remove it if we need to. Blog post page accessible only via admin. So, okay, we need to be able to post stuff now. So if we go to the blog posts structure, into post title, highlight, which will be some sort of, it'll be an image, including the tags as well. It'll be some sort of potentially a video embed, like an iframe, the body, and then the timestamp. So we need methods for that. So if I go to blog and I create a method for public function insert post, and we're passing in 3 parameters, I believe: the title, the highlight, and then the body, or the code description, code body. And in here is where we'll be doing the insertion. So what we want to do is, we'll probably get it from the forum. So insert question, for example. So if I copy and paste this into the blog method, if they're not logged in, unable to post unable to post at this time, please try again later. Get rid of this. Okie dokie, so this needs to have title. Again, we don't have any user system at the moment like tracking it. We're not concerned about that. Okay, no, not just if the user is logged in. We also need to do the check for if they are an admin as well. Else if $user is admin, and for yeah, we're always passing something in, so we're going to be $user data, and remember it was the username. So if they're not an admin, we can essentially do something very similar to this. And remember it's title. we would be encrypting it. I'm just trying to think. I think it's best if we put this as text as well. The reason is so we can easily encrypt it. And you might be thinking, why do we want to make sure we encrypt anything? It's only admins. Like I said, if at a later date we get to the point where we have a WordPress style system where we have for non-admin people posting, so just trusted writers, we don't want them to be able to mess around with something. Even though we're using PHP data objects, it should prevent any SQL injection, just to prevent any other stuff like that. And just in general, be good to, I'll say, encrypt it. And it'll provide a nice way of storing it as well then. Is that a primary key? No, it's not. Why is that highlighted like that? Weird. So title. So we need to, do the encryption. What is the method? PHP. Actually, I've got it. Oh, damn. I actually have it within the forum system, I believe. Base 64 in code, that's all it is. So if I go back to blog, base underscore 64 underscore in code. And I don't like that, I think there's no underscore there. Okay, I need something similar for the highlight. Base 64 underscore in code, and this is going to be the body. So body, I think it's just time stamp. So time. Let's get the current time. Insert it into the posts table name. And get last user ID. Do we care about being able to go to it? No, I'm just gonna say return true. Return true. And I'm going to pump out an error otherwise saying unable to post at this time, please try again later. Insert a blog post. So now we're going to need 3 fields on here. We are going to need if we go to, actually, let's have a look at time. 34 minutes, we're all good. So we need to be actually insert it now, and what we need, like I was saying, was if we go to register, we'll copy and paste this form into the admin page. So this is not going to be username anymore, this is going to be title. The input is going to be text, name is going to be title. we're going to be printing out the title back in here. What we're actually going to print out is the variables, because we might need to empty them. Title. We need a dollar highlight and dollar. Actually, no, we want to initially set them to something like so. Dollar highlight equals dollar body equals, and it is the title that we're going to be echoing out. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. We do want the token. We can get rid of these buttons, and we can get rid of the recapture as well. And this is going to say post insert insert post, insert post. Let's put a space here. Okay. So now we need to actually create a, what's it called, a text box for this. We'll get the code from the forum question. Where is it? Actually, no, we want it from the commenting. That's where we have it. Okay. Like so. So I'm going to copy and paste this into the admin page. Sort this out. And this is going to be for the highlight. Highlight. Shouldn't really be a class, it should be an ID, I guess. And I'm going to put a capital T, capital H. It's going to be highlight. And this is going to echo out the highlight. So highlight. We need to do something similar for the body now. So body, 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 dollar body. So now, let's save that, go back and have a look. Okay, so if I insert post, obviously it doesn't do anything at the moment. We've got our title, and we've got the highlight, and then the body. Highlight is the only one that's going to be optional. So if we go back to admin, now we're to put optional here. Every other one is a mandatory field. So now we can start doing the check. So if I went to commenting, and I can copy and paste basically all of this. Copy that. And now go to admin. I'll put it after I've done dollar title equals whatever. So obviously to prevent cross-site forgery. And now if I'm doing the post blog, insert post button, and for the validation I am going to validate not just the comment text area. I'm going to validate the title, highlight and body. So title is required, minimum of 1, a maximum of, what would be reasonable? Let's try. This is an awesome test title to see. I'm going to put 64. So 64 is the maximum. Obviously, even though text can take, I think it is 65 out of 535, which I believe is what? Is 16 bits? I think it's 16 bits. We don't want it that big. Required. Apart from that, I don't think there's any other sort of checks that we need to do with it. And we'll just call it title. I'll just copy and paste this actually. Okie dokie. The highlight. We don't need to do any checks on that. And the body required and a minimum of, I'm putting a minimum of 1, but you probably want to change that. I'm going to put this at 65,535. See body. So if the validation has passed, then and only then, actually no, before this, I want to do this equals, it equals get title, highlight, body. Okay, so if validation has passed, instead of getting it here, we've already got it. We're gonna do, I need to create a new instance of blog, so $blog, new sonar blog, where was it again? I don't need this as well. There's only one button, so I can get rid of all this. That should save time, reduce the code a lot. So blog, and what was it? It was called insert post, admin, insert post, and this is going to be $title, $highlight, $body for each. Any of the comments errors, I'm going to print them out. Actually no, blogs errors. And if there's any validation errors, we'll print them out as well. I'm guessing that's going to, we'll post it now. The only thing I would say is, if it's successful, if validation has passed, and I have inserted it correctly, then we need to just reset these values, because we don't want them to be printing out here again. We only want them to print them out in the text area and the input if it's failed. So maybe they failed because they didn't insert the title, but they wrote, I don't know, 10,000 characters in the body. We don't want them to lose that. We only want them not to lose it, but to get rid of it if if successfully posted, because it's there, they can retrieve it at a later date. Because again, this isn't the user, like the normal user, this is an admin, so realistically they should have access to somebody that has access to the table and the database. And want to confirm that in the blog post that we're returning true or false. So if it's successful, return true. If it's not, return false. Okay, so if I were to refresh now, go to browse, nothing inserted, and if I were to say first title, for the highlight I won't put anything yet. For the body I'll say this is pretty awesome, oh yeah, insert post. Okay, it did insert it, but again, this isn't an issue with like insertion here, but realistically we should let the user know that it's successfully inserted, otherwise like, have they inserted here? User meaning, you know, like the admin, the writer, not regular user. So insert post, if they have, I'm immediately going to echo out here, post inserted. This is probably the page that you're least likely to be customizing in terms of CSS. Again, it depends on who's accessing it. If let's say you're creating your own page, like your own like sort of website, you want to blog on there, you're going to be less fussed about this, because on So Not Learning we have an admin page that only admins can access, and though it fits in with the rest of the website style, the UI, that's because we got, you know, like the header footer template system, but like inside of it, it's not very, you know, stylized. There's text, you know, that's just randomly big. No, I wouldn't say randomly big. It looks randomly big, but it's big like that because I'm the only one that's using it. And when I go onto it, I want, you know, certain pieces of information that I can easily see, easily access. Doesn't look very nice, but it's functional for what I need it for. So again, this is probably going to be one of those pages. But as you know, if you create it for somebody else, you probably will, you know, spruce this up so it looks a little nicer. So we've got that done. Let's check on the time. 47 minutes, that's all good. So now we need to actually have a way to retrieve all of this. That's where the home comes in. And I'm just gonna, before I do that, if I go to blog, click forum, we need one for, well, get questions. That's what we want. So if I go to blog, get all the blog posts, get posts, get all posts. There's going to be no ID. Retrieves the blog posts from the database, and we need the posts table name. We don't need to actually insert any, like, we don't need anything like that. Can I even do it like that? I don't know if I ever have. So if I go to database, if I go to get, where, okay, so that's called in action. I wonder if I can. I want to just do a query one. This will provide us with, you know, some nice flexibility. Usually when you're doing stuff like get, you are doing it based on a certain condition, but not in this case. One of those interesting ones. Blog. And I'm gonna get query We've already got an instance of the database. Select everything from the posts table name, there's nowhere at all. Again, is this even optional? Can I even do it like this? It's interesting, because again, we've never had to do it like this before. Should be able to. Actually, I don't know whether I can. We'll see. We will see. So if I go to blog, so if we get everything from that, if we're counting it, and we want to keep a record of it here. And this is going to be blog posts. Also returning false. Also returning that. So if I do get all posts, if I go to home, I'll go into here first. I'll just copy and paste this part. Hopefully this is saving time and not wasting it. I'm gonna echo out $blog get all posts and now print all. I'm gonna print all this. In theory, should print them out. Obviously, we don't have any, decoded it or anything, but we're not concerned about that at the moment. I'm gonna see if it actually. Okay, everything does look like it's come back okay, just the one. So if I post another one, this is the second post. Oh yeah. Nah, for the highlight, I'll leave that for now. Leave me alone. And I'm gonna put a strong tag in here of strong test. Insert post. Okay, we got both of them right here. So what I want to know is if I were to go into blog, for example, instead of using the query, if I were to just use the get method like so, would that work or not? There's only one way to find out. So if I put it here, so if I were to, let's say, just remove all of this, missing argument 2, what if I were to have it there but just have it as empty? No, it doesn't like it, so I do need to do like my own query. Okay, that's good, at least that works now. So what's the time looking like? It's all good. What I'm just gonna finish off doing is gain it printed out. So let's iterate over it. We have code for iterating. Gonna rather just be lazy and copy and paste in forum. We have in home, I guess. So if I copy that and I go into home, and get all posts, and obviously we need to put this somewhere. $blog posts equals this as $post. I'm gonna echo out $post. Say if I put title, let's just say if I were to echo out a break line, and let's just say if I were to put a strong tag around it, strong. Now echo out the $post body. Again, we're not too concerned about decrypting it at the moment. We'll get to that in a second. And once we've done one of these, we're going to put a horizontal rule. Refresh. Line 16, semicolon, refresh. There we go. So now let's just actually start decoding it. So if I were to do base 64 underscore decode, first title, this is pretty awesome, but we want to flip it, we want to reverse it. So for the for each, we actually have something similar to that in the comments. I mean the comments page. Again, we want the latest one first. For we did. Maybe it's in the comments class, or don't we have it? I thought we did. Sort of, you know, rearrange it. Actually, I can just order it in MySQL. So if I go to, in the actual query, blog, get all posts, sending or descending, so I'm going to put that, $order, so I'm going to put if $order, I want to do Yoda condition, so if ascending is not equal to $order or descending is not equal to $order, we are going to do $order equals ascending. So by default it'll just be ascending, but you need to make sure you sort that out yourself. Okay, just pass in a parameter in there. So I have to pass in an array. Order by, I can't remember, you see order by? I can never remember this. MySQL order by timestamp question mark. So we'll go to comments. Copy that, go to blog again, Whack this here. Might be a bit of overkill, but I'll remove what we don't need. And this needs to be dollar order. Dollar order by timestamp, or ascending or descending. And we can just pass that in. So if we go to home, dollar ascending, invalid argument on so I'm guessing nothing was returned then. Shouldn't require the other parameter to be passed in. Invalid argument. So if I go to blog.php, it was timestamp, wasn't it? Timestamp. It's not uppercase, is this? As in, like, it doesn't have to be uppercase, I don't think. Refresh. Dollar order. So let's just do my own assign here equals dollar ascending invalid argument. Why doesn't it like you when I'm doing it like this? What was this way we did the query again? Ah, it sort of defeats the purpose. We can get the other one back. That's for what it'll be. We no longer need to do, well, query. Still, maybe I didn't put a comma there. Did. So if I put it like this, still doesn't like it. Could it be something to do with this? I'm going to get the get one back. So if I just go to blog and I copy and paste this to here, and for the table name I'm going to grab this, and this is order by, so obviously I can't use this anyway. That's to do with equals. What about this does it not like? I wonder if it's literally to do with that. Like if I were to simply put blog posts, would it like it? Invalid argument. I'm positive that it's to do with this. Like if I were to go put in echo here, it must be getting into here. Is there a count? Echo. Yeah, apparently it's unable to get anything when it's ordering by timestamp. The order is like that. Where else did we use the query? Seems to be okay with it there. Yeah, I'm using where, but unless I'm positive that I'm not using order by incorrectly. The reason I say that is because if I explicitly put ascend in here, what happens if I were to just put dollar order here like so? That works. But it's like, why wouldn't it work before? Something I'm gonna have to look into at a later date. I think it is to do with you know this. Maybe it was conflicting with it. So again, I'm just gonna do the check. Actually, first of all, I'm gonna. This shouldn't matter whether it's lowercase or uppercase. I want to confirm. That's fine. So I'm going to do if dollar order. I mean, Yoda conditions. Don't forget. Doesn't equal. Let's see, string to lower. To lower. What's the PHP to lower? PHP to lower. str. str to lower. Doesn't equal that. It needs to be and. Sorry. Because if it equals one of them, then you say okay. And it doesn't equal ascending, then we just need to explicitly set one ourselves. And by default, we'll just, will it be a descending? Now, let's just make sure it's working. So if I put that in there, and if I were to go to the home page and put some random there, is ascending. If I were to do descending, it's now descending. Okay, so good to refresh the ID. I hate when I do that. Okay, so if I go back to the Snapchat blog, we got like a time here. Did it print? Okay, printed the strong test. It's all on one line. We need to sort that out. I sort that out in various places throughout. So for the title, we're going to do HTML special chars. If I copy this, go to home, for the body, need an extra bracket here. I'm going to remove the NL2BR, which is the new line to break rule, because we don't want to be able to, you know, have breaks in our title. You might want to, but that's not something we want to do. Got an extra bracket, or not enough brackets now. HTML special chars. Ooh. Question is, do we want to allow special characters in there or not? that's totally dependent on us. So we got our blog posts. What else do we just need to print out? I guess like I'm just going to do a posted date and time instead of formatting it like this. So I'm going to go back to question. So on our time, epoch date time, like so. And if I go to home, before I do the horizontal rule, I'm going to do echo. I want to do some italics. So some more italics. And for the time posted, it's going to be $post. Doesn't like time posted. Time stamp. It was time stamp. And I'm going to put a new break rule here just to format it a little better. Boom. There we go. That is pretty darn cool. We got our blog system. Like basic blog system working. Blog post page. Again, I like the way this is done. We could easily add a commenting system because we've separated the commenting system to the forum system. It's actually something we created first. So we're not going to be adding that, but the blog looks all done to me now. Another thing I did actually add on here was CMS. Don't think we're going to need that for a while, so I'll move that down a bit. And next time it's going to be password expiration time. So I'm probably going to end the video now because probably just be in about like an hour 10 minutes. Hour 12. So we got the blog system in 2 videos. It was a lot simpler than the forum and the commenting system. So we can commit this code to GitHub now. Let's open that. And get rid of this because it's just password expiration time. I know what that is. Or blue I do. So sync it up. So we've got the latest branch. And need to open in Finder. We need to actually go to the code in XAMPP so we can copy that over. Copy it over from here. Paste it like so, and now database schemas, I can get rid of that. Need an updated database schema. And I want the entire schema. Export. Go. I want to move this over here. And now, so yeah, it looks like we got all the latest code, which is all good. All good stuff. Blog comments, actually, we didn't use comments. What I'm actually going to do then is just delete it. I'll leave it in there in case we need it. So day 17, blog system part 2. And we got the schema. Commit to master. Sync this bad boy up. Boom, that is now synced and ready to go. Oh, good stuff. So that is it for the blog system. Like I said, next time will be a very simple one. We'll get on to the password expiration time. What was the password expiration time? What was that again? Hopefully I made a note. Option to disable it potentially if it is set to 0 or have a method within the user class. But if it's in the user class, I think that's to do with, well, because you log in. When you log in, if I go to user, log in, could it be to do with this session? Can't remember what I was talking about with this. Or is it to do with, like I said, you've actually logged in? Password expiration time. Or is it to do with stuff like reset password? I'm going to leave that there. If I can't figure that out, I'm going to have to go on to the next one. Export database schema with 1 point. I've been exporting these as we've been going along. Ooh, I've been putting them into testing instead of complete. All of these are complete. I bet. So let me just sort this out. I'll leave it here. If I can't remember, I'll have to go on to the next one. It's documentation, actually. Don't have anything else before that. Yeah, for the documentation, I'm going to document it, as in record these vlogs. It may be a bit of a boring process, but I'm going to put in, in the title, documentation, maybe boring, blah, blah, blah. And the reason I'm going to be documenting is, one, I want to document as much of this framework as possible, and two, I'm certain that while we're doing it, we're going to come across bugs, we're going to be fixing them. So I don't want to do that and be like, oh, I need to explain that in the next, vlog. I'd rather, you see the process of me fixing the problem, because I've already had to do some of that already. I did that in the last video, and I'd rather just document as much as possible. But I think creating documentation now is crucial. Absolutely crucial. Gonna probably go down the GitHub route. Gonna do a bit of research outside of the vlogs for the next one to see when to do it. So we have now committed, and that is it for, like I said, the blog system. If you have any questions regarding the framework, if you want to use it, feel free. It's open source. If you want to contribute towards it, then feel free to contribute code, ideas. We welcome it, because this is the idea of this project is the ultimate PHP web framework. Eventually going to be a web framework with a lot of front-end features for the community, by the community. So yeah, we really do welcome it. If you have questions, feel free to comment, post them on our education platform, sononline.co.uk. If you like this vlog, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and leave us a comment. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.